So it's not harmful. If you consume a lot of it, not only one kind of lentil, then other, you mix it up with other food, high protein food, then it can be bad. Otherwise, in small quantity, it's okay.
Small quantity.
Yeah, small quantity is fine.
Okay.
Now coming back to liver failure. So I was saying that it is possible to reverse it, and it's not very easy though, but it is possible. I have seen my patient with a lot of uh, water in the abdomen, about 15 liters of water, and after few months of treatment, the water is not forming, although they were going to take out the water every 15 days or every 1 month to the hospital. Now after Ayurvedic treatments, they are not going to hospitals. The water is not forming again and again, and slowly the fibroscan is showing good improvement.
Are they off allopathy medicine then?
They are off allopathy medicine, yes.
They're off.
After first I stopped their diuretics, and then slowly other medicines which they are taking.
Okay. So
So
step by
it's
step.
not only step by step. It's not only about liver cirrhosis or liver failure, but also about other health conditions, many other.
Many other health
So
conditions.
sometimes I see liver patients are told don't consume salt, and they stop the salt altogether, and then their sodium level goes down, and they are not even able to get up from their seat. They are just too much having lack of sodium in their body, and when they check the blood, they see sodium level is too low. Normal is 135 to 145, and usually their sodium level comes down to 125, 122. So that is too low. So I start intake of giving them sodium, salt, normal salt sometimes when the level is down, and they become all right in that case also. So they should always, the patient should always check their sodium levels. And in case of liver failure due to hepatitis B virus, so I give this herb called Phyllanthus niruri. So this Phyllanthus niruri, or Chanca piedra, it is called in South America, in Mexico and Brazil. So this Chanca piedra is very much useful in killing the virus, hepatitis B virus. It clears up the count. It can bring down the count from millions to zero. So I have seen this miracle also happening in my life. So hepatitis B virus can also be eradicated from the blood using this miracle herb called Phyllanthus niruri. So the liver is failed because of the sedentary lifestyle and this hepatitis B virus. And another cause is alcohol. People, they consume alcohol like water, you know, especially in the developed world, and they don't take care of any quantity. They don't care about anything. They keep drinking and consuming incompatible food items, consuming a lot of food and then drinking a lot of alcohol, and then dancing all night and doing all these so many things which one should not do. So ultimately, slowly the liver gets damaged. And then I tell them only one thing. And they come to me, I tell them, I can treat you only once. I can reverse your disease only once, not twice. If you're, what happens if they see the disease is reversing and the things are getting better, and if the reports are clear, they start to drink again. So I have to tell them.
That is a chronic, that is the alcoholic one is not reversible by allopathy, right?
By allopathy, there is no liver disease which is reversible. I'm talking about even it's not only the alcoholic, but also the damage caused due to virus or the damage caused due to non-alcohol fatty liver disease. So in modern medical system, this liver disease is not reversible. But in Ayurveda, this liver disease is called something else. It is that disease is reversible. And that is what I'm seeing here. And that is possible. And to alcoholic patient, I always tell him, don't come to me if you try alcohol again. So you forget it permanently. So then only I can treat you. I take a promise from the patient who took alcohol. Otherwise, I cannot treat. Otherwise, I don't treat if he starts to drink again. And so there is another cause called autoimmune. Our own body cells, our own immunity starts to attack liver cells. And that is called autoimmune. In that case also, we have some immunomodulating herbs. Some herbs which are trying to guide the immune cells, that not to attack the liver cells. So that is also. In modern system, they give immunosuppressants, which are again causing the damage to the liver. So liver transplant, if somebody goes for liver transplant, again I have seen, even after liver transplant, they are facing the same situation after a few years. And after liver transplant, they have to consume more medicines. Transplant rejection or graft rejection medicines. When the liver is transplanted, the body can reject it. So the body is given more medicine so that it doesn't reject. And that lowers down the immunity of the person and energy level of the person. So that's another problem. And moreover, the medicines are expensive. So liver transplant is not the only way out. So it is better to prevent. And Ayurveda says swasthasya swasthya rakshanam, means to protect the health of the healthy. If you're healthy, then I should guide you how to stay healthy, when to sleep, what to eat, what to say, what to think, how to behave. That is part of life. We are falling sick not only because of the diets, but also how we think, how we behave, how we react. This is affecting our hormones. And once our hormones are disturbed, the whole body is disturbed. So many things are important. So swasthasya swasthya rakshana means to protect the health of a healthy person. So prevention is better than cure. So to prevent any disease, to see any disease coming is a very important part of Ayurvedic philosophy. Ayurvedic doctors, they always tell to get up in the morning, follow proper daily routine, follow proper seasonal routine, and follow proper lifestyle, do exercise every day, yoga, and eat healthy food, don't eat incompatible food, sleep in time. Ahar, nidra, brahmacharya. Ahar means diet, nidra means sleep, brahmacharya means lifestyle.
Mhm.
How you follow your life, how you spend your day or your life. So diet is okay. Diet, I have guided you to eat more sattvic diet and more balanced diet, more wholesome diet. Any food which is growing on the tree or coming from the earth, that is the food. The food which is coming from the factory is not food. It's a dead food. If you put a potato chips under microscope, you won't see anything moving. If you put a biscuit under the microscope, nothing is moving, it is dead. If you put some noodles under the microscope, it's not moving, it's dead. If you put a tomato or a potato or some vegetable or some fruit under the microscope, you see the cells, they're full of life, they're full of oxygen, they're full of water, full of vital elements which are needed for life. That is what we are made up of. Even if you put a simple grass under microscope, you can still see it's moving. So that's how the life works. That's how the universe works. The universe is made from the 5 elements, and whole body, our body is also made from the 5 elements plus the soul. So that soul is gone when you make the food in the factory. If we eat banana, that is, banana is living, alive. It is made by God. It is packaged by God. If we eat an orange, it is packaged by God. If we drink coconut water, it is packaged by God. That is the packaged food which we can eat. Not the biscuits or the chips or the other things.
They are also
Like
as dead as non-veg.
yes, you're right.
They are
Non-veg can also trigger autoimmune reactions. In autoimmune hepatitis, I don't recommend non-veg at all. I'm not recommending in other cases also. Non-veg food can trigger many diseases also. If somebody is eating non-veg, he is more prone to autoimmune diseases, which are very complicated diseases and difficult to cure, because it can cause formation of endotoxins in the body. And those endotoxins, they are attacked by our immune system, and our immune system gets confused, and it can attack our own cells, and that is called autoimmune disorder. So non-veg or animal-based food is one of the leading causes of these autoimmune disorders. So I'm not recommending non-veg to anybody. And also the food. We were talking about the food because it is one of the main pillars of health. So factory-made food which is having high carbon dioxide, like soda drinks, soft drinks, alcohol, and sleep. Sleep is also very important. The sleep patterns, timely sleep. Animals, how they go to sleep. We have a system in our eyes. We have something behind our eyes, special equipment, you can say, in all mammals, or even maybe even birds. I don't know, but they sleep. They are at least I know about humans. We have a certain system that tells our pineal gland to release a hormone called melatonin. Whenever the light is gone, whenever the sun is down, mammals, they release some chemical or the neurotransmitter or the neurohormone, which is telling our body to shut down, which is telling our respiratory system to slow down, which is telling our digestive system to shut down, which is telling our heart rate to beat slowly, which is telling every organs to shut down. It is time to sleep. That hormones is secreted only when the light goes down. So the animals, they follow that rule. Humans, they are not following the rules.
It's the cause of all Vata diseases.
So that's what is causing the Vata imbalance. And Vata is the cause of 80% of the problem. Vata is the mobile force of the universe, or the kinetic energy of the universe, and the cause of the movement. Pitta and Kapha, they are handicapped. They are staying, they are stable, they are lying at one place, they're not moving. So as an Ayurveda verse also says, Pitta Pangu Kaf Pangu, Pangvo Mal Dhatva, Vayuna Yatra Nyante Tatra Gachanti Megvat. It means Pitta is Pangu, Pitta is handicapped, Kaf Pangu, Pangu is handicapped, Pitta is Pangu, Kapha is Pangu, Pangvo Mal Dhatva. Mala means the waste material of the body. They are also Pangu. Dhatva means Dhatu, the tissues, systems of the tissues. They are all Pangu. They are all handy. They are not moving. Nobody is moving without Vata. So Vata imbalance, whenever Vayuna Yatra Nyante, wherever it takes them, they go there. Tatra Gachanti Megvat, just like Meg. Meg is cloud. So just like cloud, whenever the cloud is full of water, cloud is full of it's stable, it is not moving, but it goes wherever the air takes it. Similarly, in our body also, the waste material or the dhatus or the tissues or the doshas or pitta and kapha, they're not moving. And whenever there is imbalance of vata, and vata takes them everywhere, and that causes diseases and imbalance. So cause of imbalance of vata is the late night sleep. So that is the cause of 80% of the hormonal disorders, autoimmune disorders, hormonal disorders. Lack of sleep is the cause, or not sleeping in time. And joint pains, dryness in the body, panic attacks, anxiety, dementia, low memory, lack of concentration, epilepsy.
You
So
said
many
like
things.
even though like you said fatty liver and liver cirrhosis for diet, you said a lot of good items in vegetarian food. Definitely avoid the junk of outside and the factory food. And meat is not highly recommended that much anyways. Like you said, it can contribute to other problems like autoimmune diseases. But
Yeah.
I'm just very curious though, because I am a vegetarian. I do consume ghee though. I don't have liver problem, but I'm just wondering, is ghee in any amount still okay? Like I'm not talking like fried food. Fried food is not good.
Fried food is bad. Fried food increases vata and also disturbs pitta. But ghee is very good for vata and pitta both. So ghee is okay in such conditions. It is in modern terms also, you can say from Ayurvedic perspective, I told you vata, it balances vata and pitta. From modern perspective also, it is a carrier oil for all vitamins. Many important vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, K, they are fat soluble vitamins. How they will get absorbed in the body. Vitamin E is very important for repair work. Our brain is made from cholesterol, so we need cholesterol in our body. Our brain cells are in so many places. We need vitamin D. At so many places we need vitamin E. So it is very important to consume ghee. From Ayurvedic perspective also, balances vata and pitta. So vata, as I told you, importance of vata, it can cause so many diseases. And pitta also, the remaining diseases are caused by it. So if something is there which can balance both vata and pitta, we must consume it.
Because I'm confused. I am Vata, but I'm not fully Vata. I am dual Prakriti. I'm a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor told me I am Vata Kapha based on my face shape and my body shape and how I am.
So
And
even if you are vata kapha, kapha is not causing you any problems. Vata is going to cause you more problems. So it's better to take ghee, no problem. So you
avoid
can
all
take
other
it.
fatty foods, fried foods, deep fried foods,
Yes,
but
of course. Everybody should avoid them.
ghee or
Fried food.
avocado, can they
Avocado is okay. Avocado is not bad. It
can
is
liver
omega.
cirrhosis patients take that or no?
Yes, they can also take it.
Avocado, they can take it.
Yes, avocado they can take. Papaya they cannot take fruits which are having high water content, like cucumbers they cannot take, watermelons they should not take, even oranges they should not take. They can consume dry figs and dry things, not dry fruits. From dry fruits they can consume only soaked almond and soaked walnuts, not cashew nuts or pistachios. So they
For liver
can disturb
patients.
liver patients. So we were talking about liver patients.
Why soaked though? Why soaked almonds and soaked walnuts? I take
Because
soaked, but I have
because
been doing
to
it as a
balance the
tradition.
yeah, because to balance the pitta, if we don't soak them, they are having more fire element in them. So to reduce the fire, to balance the pitta element, so we soak them.
Okay.